Yeah. Yeah. What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood? It is your man, Theo Butler. Yeah, we here. We are here. We are in here. Yeah. That wall looking kind of small. I know. We in here, though. We are in here. We got a great live, or at least I think we got a great live for today and everything like that. Y'all see the thumbnail? It's crazy. Oh, it's a lot going on. Oh man, it's before we begin, like, share, subscribe. Come on now. You like it, I love it. You love it, I like it. Yeah. It's a lot going on. Yeah. Shout out to the Rock With Me Nation. Right? You ain't necessarily got to be a Black Panther fan to be a member of the Rock With Me Nation. See how that go? Yeah, because clearly you ain't got to be a Black Panther fan to be a Ryan Coogler fan. Yeah, you if you Ryan Coogler fan, you probably don't give two damns about Black Panther. You just care that Ryan Coogler doing it. Yeah. We're gonna start right there because I think we just need to tell the truth to shame the devil. Especially if you've been active on social media since first thing this morning. If you've been on social media since first thing this morning, there is a distinct difference between a Black Panther fan and a Ryan Coogler fan. Ryan Coogler fans, he can't do no wrong. This is not me bashing Ryan Coogler. I'm just telling you what his fans are saying. Have faith in Ryan. In Ryan, we trust. That's crazy because I thought it was in God we trust, but that sounds like the whole stuff in Donald we trust. But in Ryan, they trust. Ryan can't do no wrong. And I'm not going to try and convince them that Ryan can do no wrong. But I'm a nerd. I knew T'Challa way before I knew Ryan. I knew T'Challa way before I knew Kevin. I knew T'Challa before we knew some of each other, right? Amen. My loyalty is never to the director. It's always to the character from the comic books. Christopher Nolan, My loyalty as a Batman fan was not to Christian Bale. It wasn't to Christopher Nolan. It's to Bruce Wayne. That's my loyalty right there. I don't give two damns about the writer. I don't give two damns about the actor. Just as long as you dot all the I's and cross the T's, that's what I care about. That's what I care about. When they said Michael Keaton was going to be Bruce, I can't about all that. I appreciate that 440 Jules. What's going on? Yeah, I ain't care nothing about all. I ain't care nothing about all that. I don't care nothing about that. When they said what the dude name, the dude that did Beetlejuice, yeah, I didn't care nothing about all that. Tim Burton, hey man, Tim, he better get it right. Because if he don't get it right, I'm gonna be mad. If he don't get it right, I'm gonna be mad. And we can't go back to what we was doing with Adam West and Burt Ward was wearing them tights. No, we're not gonna do that. You're gonna give me a legitimate Batman. Think about this for a second. And I wasn't the only fan that felt that way. I wasn't the only one saying we don't want no more slapstick Batman. No, we want Batman from the comic books. And you know who been getting Batman from the comic books on behalf of the comic book fans and ain't ever opened up their mouth to complain? The general audience. You're welcome. You're welcome. You may have came in as a Tim Burton fan, but it was our response that got you what you're welcome. And once we turned it over to the general audience, we get stuff like Batman and Robin. We start getting actors cast in roles they ain't got no business being in, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. We get folks that don't even give two damns about playing the character, like George Clooney. How you get cast as Bruce Wayne and you don't care? Oh, the same way you could be a black person going to a movie featuring the first black superhero and you not give two damns about that first black superhero. That's how. Real easy. Let me go ahead and greet folks as they pull up. I see a Shuri is in the building and D Steezel is in the building. What is D Steezel? Mr. Rock With Me Nation. Yeah, because D Steezel be all over the place. That said though, we got the announcement. Now myself, I felt good over the weekend. I did. Glass half full for me, right? And I noticed something. You noticed it too. This is a safe space. You noticed it too, regardless of what side you fall on when it comes to this. You noticed it. Hasbro Marvel Legends dropped the Black Panther action figure. Not one Ryan Coogler fan clapped. This is T'Challa's 60th anniversary. Not one Ryan Coogler fan has acknowledged it. Not happy anniversary, not nothing. I'm not mad. I'm not tripping. I just want you to know where you fall at in this equation. You're a Ryan Coogler fan. You don't give two damns about Black Panther. And what did we just find out today? You don't give two damns about Shuri either. You don't care about T'Challa. You don't care about Shuri. All you care about is Ryan Coogler's vision. That's crazy, because this character was created before Ryan's parents met. You ain't doing, it's three camps now. Shuri fans ain't feeling too well. But as T'Challa fans, we understand what they're going through. We do. And our heart goes out to them. We do. Even though we don't agree with the recast, if we were going to go ahead with Shuri, go ahead and let her get her story in, right? But we don't, as critical thinking people, we're not stopping to think about what Marvel's decision to cast Toussaint means. It means and the fact that they want to keep tying T'Challa's name to him, David Jonsson's character, right? It means they're acknowledging they made a mistake in deleting T'Challa. They want to keep that T'Challa legacy alive. They want to keep that T'Challa connection alive, even though there is no T'Challa connection to speak of. They want fans to gravitate to the movies because they mention T'Challa. Can you imagine going to a movie that just mentions Bruce Wayne? Can you imagine going to a Superman movie that just mentions Clark Kent? A Spider-Man movie that, not with Miles in it, a Spider-Man movie that just mentions that Peter is in it, arbitrarily, knowing full good and well that company don't give two doggones about Peter. That's how some folks feeling today. Frank, what's going on, franchise? Franchise says, right, they don't care. Theo B. Shuri got Doomsday and Secret War. She had a run now. It's her time to turn it over. Jarence, we're not going to be petty. That's not a story arc. That's not a character arc. We're not going to be petty. Right is right, wrong is wrong. I built this channel off of that. The channel gonna stay like that. I'm not finna be petty. Shuri ain't got no story arc. You know that, and I know that. We're not gonna do that. Shuri fans might not have cared about that in regards to T'Challa. Shuri fans might not have known what a story arc is, but they feel it today. We as nerds, as comic book fans, we know what a story arc is. We know she's not getting hers. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to turn the Rock With Me Nation into hypocrites. We're not going to do that. And we're not going to, as men, be hypocrites either. No, right is right, wrong is wrong. That character deserved a story arc. If that was the move, if that was the direction you was going to move in, go ahead and own it. She got stories out there in the comic books that never made it to the big screen. You and I both know that. The Shuri fans that used to be Ryan Coogler fans, they might not know that. They might not, but we do. And I am a girl dad. So if I'm going to stand 10 toes down, it's going to be period, not convenient, not condition. It's going to be period. Moving right along, though. Moving right along. Shuri says, I got no love for so-called Shuri fans who shamed us to wanting T'Challa standing side by side. I think, Shuri, you need to adjust that statement. Those weren't Shuri fans. See, the thing about this video is I think folks just need to be honest with themselves. You can call yourself a Shuri fan. You can. But if you haven't invested in Shuri since she was created by Reginald Hudlin and or made her debut in the MCU, if the only thing you've done in regards to Shuri is watch the MCU, you're not a Shuri fan. You're an MCU fan. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're a Ryan Coogler fan. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. But you're not a Shuri fan. You're not. If you woke up this morning and you didn't feel no type of way about Shuri not having her own movie per se, you weren't a Shuri fan. If you didn't raise an eyebrow when she referred to her AI as Griot, you're not a Shuri fan. If you low-key ain't opened up your mouth when the Queen Mother Ramunda took a dirt nap, you definitely not. You're a Ryan Coogler fan. You're a Ryan Coogler fan. Once again, ain't nothing wrong with that. You just not the Black Panther fan. Which brings me to this. They need to stop calling that Black Panther anything. Just call it Coogler 3. That's Ryan Coogler 3. You got Ryan Coogler 2, and Ryan Coogler 3. You even got a Ryan Coogler miniseries over there on Disney Plus. But can we stop calling that the other stuff though? Because fans can't have conversations with fans. Black Panther fans cannot have conversations with Ryan Coogler fans about anything Black Panther related. They can't. It's impossible. I'm halfway watching, halfway listening to a video last night on YouTube where the dude was talking about the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe from beginning to end. He was going to cover the whole thing. I promise you, when he got to Wakanda, I got lost. He started mentioning some names that just sounded unfamiliar to me, and I'm like, damn, I'm a Black Panther historian. Where these names coming from? That tell you right then and there. I didn't watch The Eyes of Wakanda at all. I'm sorry. Over here, the Rock With Me Nation, Black Panther fans, we refer to Eyes of Wakanda as the Lives of Wakanda. I'm sorry. You can like it, but that's what we do over here. It's an in-house joke. Well, I didn't recognize none of them names. Somebody went from being a Dora Milaje to a Hattusilize. And I was like, wait. The name was unfamiliar. The story was unfamiliar. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? But you know what? I get it. I get it. You don't read comic books. You can't ever say you were a comic book fan. And it's way easier to make up your own story than learn a story. I'm gonna say it one more time. It's real easier to make up your own story than learn a story. The thing is, and I gotta give it up to him. Dadgum. I'm gonna mention his name. I don't think he's ever mentioned mine, but Afro Think Tank. He was talking about how there was going to be a certain demographic that have distanced themselves from Africa, probably gonna wind up going to go see this movie. Why would you go see this movie if you distance yourself from Africa? Don't make no sense. Then there's this part right here. We become so westernized, so colonized, so disconnected from the motherland, we don't even know to be offended that they're referring to him as T'Challa Jr. What would it take for us to be offended that they're referring to him as T'Challa Jr. and we know that's not a thing in Africa? What would it take? Would it take for folks to holler Black Power? Because that used to be all encompassing. Black Power. Or does somebody need to holler Black American Power? Black African Power? What would it take for folks who are descendants of folks born in the motherland, knowing that because see, Italian people take their culture seriously. Whether they talking about being in Italy, whether they talking about being over here, they take their culture seriously. We need to stop and think about this for a second. Folks that support the Confederate flag, they take their culture seriously. Folks that support the swastika, they take their culture seriously. I'm trying to figure out what's good because see, I don't eat jerk chicken. But jerk chicken, I don't believe is an African American delicacy. I really believe jerk chicken comes from across the water, and it's quite a few African Americans I know consume jerk chicken like it's nothing. I don't want to act like that. I don't eat it, but I think, what would it take for us to learn, one, that there is no such thing as juniors in Africa? They don't have an equivalent to that. They don't. What would it take for Black people to be offended by the fact that Marvel Studios and Ryan Coogler, because folks, you either gonna love him or this, you either gonna like him a lot more after I say this, or you're gonna dislike him a little bit more after I say this. What would it take for you to realize that's not what I'm getting ready to say? What would it take for you to be offended? Black Panther fan? Chadwick Boseman fan. And I'm throwing that name out there for a reason. Chadwick Boseman fan? Ryan Coogler fan? Shuri fan? Black fan? Like, what would it take for you to be offended to know that right then, right there, that character was colonized, westernized, going all the way back to 2022? And if the script was already written in 2021, that means Ryan, as an African-American male, referred to an African child as a junior because of his father. What that tell you? What that tell you? Let me read this to you, because see, you can ask folks questions and get the darndest answers, but you got to know what questions to ask. I never watched Eyes of Wakanda either. I didn't. Junior, we don't condone that in the comics, not at all. Jerky is essentially European delicacy. That ain't American. What you say? Really? I thought you watched. I didn't know. Man, stop. Ryan Coogler 3 LL. That is missing here. Yeah, that's my brother D Real in the building. My brother D Real they pulled up. What, brother in the building? What's going on, Big D? Pause. Franchise said Ryan Coogler should have been removed from the project after Wakanda Forever. S. Jaddy says people telling me to be cool with the 5'9" Black Panther would be first in line to hang James Gunn if he cast the 5'9" Batman and said he was a good actor. The only reason why Michael Keaton slid in at 5'10" is because we ain't know no better. We was looking and we like, hey, he look kind of, but the on-screen portrayal. Let me share this with y'all. Jaron says, Theo, did you rewatch it? Leticia looked mad. I'm not gonna project. I'm not gonna project. I did that yesterday in a video. I voiced my opinions in regards to how she looked. I wasn't the only one that felt like that, but it's a feeling, and feelings can be wrong. She says she's good with it and everything like that. So I'm gonna go with what Leticia Wright said. She says she's good with it. She says she's good with it. And this video today is not about whether or not, and I want to point that out, not saying that you was leading it that way, Jaron, but this video is not about whether or not Leticia Wright is upset. It's not that. She says she good, she good. This video is more about the character of Shuri and Leticia Wright employment with the MCU going forward. So it's not a matter of was she mad. This video won't be addressing that. But let me tell you what we will address. So you got to know to ask the right questions. You got to know to ask the right questions. You can think something, but you got to know to ask the right questions. So I'm over there and I'm talking to I'm talking to AI, right? And I'm asking AI some questions. It says we interacting because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I like to lean on folks that's smarter than me. And since AI be reaching out to all the articles, all the platforms and everything like that, I like to ask AI some questions because, like I said, my resources are limited. It asked me, though, it said, do you think cultural laziness is a result of Marvel corporate executives? And when we say cultural laziness, we're talking about that junior thing. We're specifically talking about that junior thing. Do you think this cultural laziness is a result of Marvel corporate executives overriding Coogler's details, or has Coogler himself compromised on the cultural accuracy just to make his father's son's story work? It's my response. Considering Chadwick was the one who stated that Wakandans couldn't speak fluent English because they'd never been conquered, and how BP1 opened up with a crime being planned in Oakland, I think it's Coogler. AI's response: you hit the nail on the head, and that context highlights exactly who is steering this ship away from authentic lore. Chadwick Boseman was deeply protected. Where my Chadwick Boseman fans at? Because you know we're supposed to be doing this for Chadwick. Did y'all forget? We're supposed to be doing this for Chadwick. You know, we was all in our feelings when he passed away and everything. It was like, Chadwick, we can't do nothing else without you. Ain't got nobody else do it. You remember Chadwick? Because I know I got called up, and I wasn't on one, got called to no influence. Did we forget who we was doing this for? Yeah, we're supposed to be doing this for Chadwick. Let me see here. Chadwick Boseman was deeply protective of the cultural logic of Wakanda. This would be the brother who traced his roots back to Africa. He fought behind the scenes to keep the African accent. He did. He did. All the Chadwick, y'all, all the Chadwick Boseman, not Coogler, not Ryan, Chadwick. The dude that we doing all this for. You know the dude that's in his brooch around his neck? Yeah, that dude, right. He fought behind the scenes to keep the African accent, arguing that because Wakanda was never colonized, they wouldn't speak with standard European or localized Western inflections. Coogler, on the other hand, consistently filters Wakanda through his own personal lens as an African-American filmmaker from Oakland. While that perspective made the first movie an incredible exploration of the African diaspora, it means he is highly prone to interjecting America into Africa. I didn't say that. I did ask the question, though. You can be a Ryan Coogler fan. There's nothing wrong with that. That ain't what this video is about. It ain't. I'm not even going to go down that road to bash it. You can like it. You can love it. You can continue to say, in Ryan we trust. You absolutely can. You can go see Black Panther 3. God bless you. You grown. You make your own money. You make up your own decisions. Go enjoy it. But I will hearken back to what I said yesterday. We're not going to make you feel bad for going to go see Black Panther. I'm sorry, Ryan Coogler 3. What we're not going to do is call that Black Panther nothing. We're going to stop that, because what y'all been doing is LARPing, acting, portraying like you're Black Panther fans. Ryan Coogler has built his fame off of being, no, he's not Black Panther nothing. He's Ryan Coogler. We got to know. So you can go see Coogler 3. You can, right? You ain't got to bash anybody to go see it. Just go say what you've been saying. In Coogler we trust, and go see it, because the stuff that y'all saying online sounds dumb. You want to belittle people for standing up for a character. You stand up for characters that don't look like you all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. The stuff that y'all are entertaining as Coogler fans, you would never entertain as a Batman fan, and you know it. The stuff that you're entertaining as a Coogler fan, you would never entertain as a Superman fan. You don't know it. And going online acting like you don't know why folks got a problem, got an issue. Well, some young lady asked me to explain it to her like she was 5 years old. My response was this: I could explain it to you. The question is whether or not you would care. And I think that's what we need to understand. Coogler fans don't care. And as Coogler fans, you just need to say, we don't care. Stop acting like somebody done wronged you. Stop acting like somebody got unfair expectations of fictional artwork. No, you don't care. You ain't got to care. But stop lying and acting like folks ain't got a reason to be in their feelings. As I stated before, Shuri got a story arc. We say we finna bring in the mutants. Okay. Well, there's a story out there with Shuri and Logan running the fade. Got a whole comic book dedicated to it. One issue. It's called Claws of the Panther. And if I'm not mistaken, that's issue number 2. Where that story at? We're going to bring Logan into the MCU and him and Shuri don't get to interact. We don't get to hear Logan talk to Shuri about her tendencies to want to delete folks as opposed to talk to them. Why not? That's part of her story. We don't get to see Shuri in the Savage Land with Kazar, Shauna the She-Devil, Zabu. We don't get to see that story where she running up on Claw by her daddy. Why not? That's issue 1. What's wrong with that story? We don't. Here we go. Oh Lord, this one should do numbers right here. We don't get to see Shuri and Peter Parker hanging out. We don't get to see Shuri kicking a bobo in Avengers Mansion with Peter. That's not good. As a Coogler fan, you wouldn't want to see that. As a Shuri fan, because I know right now some of y'all done divided again. As a Shuri fan, you don't want to see that. Ain't you Tom? You don't want to see Leticia Wright with Tom Holland up in Avengers Tower kicking the bobo. What about you don't want to see them go on a mission? How about Shuri, Peter going on a mission against AIM? You don't like that? Yeah, that would be issue 3, Claws of the Panther. Shuri and Peter and Shuri against AIM. You don't like that? How about this one? How about Shuri in a flashback story with Natasha Romanoff taking on Claw once again? You don't like that? Yeah, that she got some stories out there now. Now, mind you, I'm recasting T'Challa, but I'm a nerd. I ain't no Ryan Coogler fan. I'm a comic book fan. You see how this go when we pay attention to the comic books. You see how as a Shuri fan that used to be a Ryan Coogler fan, you missing out on some stuff. We ain't gonna get to see Shuri or Ororo. That's gonna be a nice little segue in a second. We don't get to see Shuri, Ororo, and Susan because we got Susan, we got Shuri. We don't get to see them putting hands on Anubis. The armies of Anubis. Why not? I watched the Scorpion King. Then I see the armies of Anubis. Then you see the armies of Anubis. Okay, well, we got Shuri running the fade with Anubis, the god Anubis. It's 3v1, but we got Shuri doing it. We're not gonna get that. That's crazy. We're not gonna get that. What about? Because I know folks, you can be a Coogler fan. If you're a Coogler fan, God bless you. But I don't get to see Shuri fight side by side with T'Challa. Not to be confused with Toussaint, whatever his name is. Not to be confused with him. I'm talking about the brother and sister fighting side by side during this event right here, Doomsday. I don't get to see them defending Wakanda side by side. Now I ain't gonna get Skybreak either, huh? Like when she hand the blade, she say put it where it belongs. I ain't gonna get that. Okay, all right, that's great. I ain't gonna get no boss battle with Shuri either, cause in the comics I got her running a 1v1 fade with Proxima Midnight. Yeah, that's the gangster that I know right there. That's the thug that I know right there. That thug. Like, no, I want the 1v1. You want a 1v1 with Proxima Midnight? I want a 1v1 with Proxima Midnight running. I ain't gonna get that home. It's crazy. All right. Okay. All right. Y'all good with that? Shuri fans. Y'all good? Y'all good? It's some most Shuri stuff out there and everything like that. I just don't want to. I'm just saying, like that. I'm just saying, like, you got some more stuff out there. So I understand if you a Shuri fan that started reading comic books because of Shuri, I can understand why you're upset. Now, if you a Shuri fan that used to be a Ryan Coogler fan, I'm just saying, you don't think there's some stories out there. Wait a minute. The story with Shuri and T'Challa in Hell's Kitchen. You don't want that? I see y'all on social media talking about Luke Cage and Daredevil and how we ain't necessarily caring about seeing no Iron Fist come back to the MCU. But yeah, we not wrong for that one. So you see the Defenders and you liked all that with Charlie Cox and everything like that. You ain't feeling some type of way with the idea, the aspect that you can see Luke Cage, Sam Wilson, T'Challa, and Shuri in a scene running up on Wilson Fisk and the Hand. Let me tell you what this looked like right here. That would be Leticia Wright, Michael Coulter. I think that's his name, Michael Coulter. We're going to have to work on Anthony Mackie's facial expression. Like, we're going to have to get him to understand he from Harlem. And here we go. I'm just going to throw this name out there. Damson Idris as T'Challa, not to be confused with Toussaint. Yeah, Damson Idris. You don't like that right there? That scene go hard if you ask me. You got Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, right? Leticia Wright, Michael Coulter, Anthony Mackie, Damson Idris. That's a hard scene. That's a hard scene. I'm just a nerd. I'm just a nerd. But y'all don't think Shuri got shafted? I didn't want to put that on YouTube because I didn't think how they was gonna take that. But you don't think Shuri got shortchanged? Damson Idris is better off Blade. That's an opinion, and you definitely entitled to it. Dang. Okay, all right, sure. Love the culture poetry. The fans are mad at us instead of being mad at the way the MCU has mishandled her career. Bam. Don't be mad at recast T'Challa. You see how I'm recast T'Challa, and I just stated everything out there that I know as a fan, as a Shuri fan, you deserve and you didn't get. Yeah, don't be mad at us. Don't say nothing because I done seen that nonsense on social media too. Shuri fans mad at recast T'Challa. No. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you who you really need to be mad at. You're a Coogler fan, right? Used to be. You need to be mad at Ryan. Because you can Google this. Kevin wasn't checking for that dude. Kevin was not checking for that dude. Ryan did that on his own. Yeah, so don't blame Marvel Studios for picking David Jonsson. When y'all be on social media, use your smart device. Use your smart device. When you go looking at and you want to complain about how somebody looked and somebody's age and everything like that, that had nothing to do with Kevin Feige. That had nothing to do with Marvel Studios. Ryan Coogler held his own personal meeting, his own secret meeting, his own one-for-one conversation with David and hired him. Ryan hired him. Ryan called Kevin and say, I got Toussaint. He's the guy. Google it. Don't blame this on Kevin. We're going to let everybody get all the credit they deserve. Rightfully so. Yeah, Google it. Dang. Let me keep up, though. I appreciate y'all pulling up. You don't have to leave comments and everything. Just hit that like button. This is how we pay bills. You see stuff coming down. Yes, we are in the process of moving, so we taking action figures down and everything like that. So definitely, if you can't do anything else, please hit that like button. Let me make sure I was up. Should have said I was listening to Marcus and Company. Still listening. Had to pause to see you, but I hear the order adult actor is. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be nice. Yeah, because those of y'all that know, y'all know. So let me see. My brother D. Steezel is in the building. Let's see here. Jarens, if she passes early to get adult Toussaint throughout the movie, is yeah. Let me see. D. Steezel sent 100 jewels. Appreciate that, D. Steezel. Appreciate that. Yeah, they don't care about the BP franchise at all. No, they don't. They care about the Coogler franchise, which is not to be confused with the BP franchise. Shoulda says I got no love for so-called Shuri fans who, like I said, I'm gonna do right for right, wrong for wrong. I'm not gonna be wrong because they were wrong. I'm not gonna do that. We got us an action figure with an infinity gauntlet. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still winning in this equation. I'm like, because Hasbro just low-key told the whole world, this movie ain't really the movie it's supposed to be without T'Challa in it. And we're going to tell you why. Yeah. So, yeah, I felt good. And I know some folks felt like Toussaint being cast was a L. I saw somebody say, we lost. I'm going to say it like this. Forget what other people got to say in regards to feeling like you got to do this, feeling like you got to do that. No, there's a difference in losing a war and losing a battle. There's a difference in losing a war and losing a battle. And if I got to speak strength and confidence into my fellow recasters, I don't have a problem do so. I will point out the victories for you just in case you forgot. 1943, The Rise of Hydra, indefinitely suspended. That Black Panther video game that showed little to no respect to the titular character T'Challa, indefinitely suspended. Eyes of Wakanda, the animation studio, shut down. Cool. Shout out to Kamoyo King, D. Steezel, everybody that was doing renders for action figures and everything like that. We got this Black Panther doing his 60th anniversary, which they say is a Magic the Gathering. But if you look at the second head sculpt that they put in there, you know specifically it was the Rock With Me Nation asking for that. And that is a tribute to that dude showing up in the Avengers. So I can take the victory lap. I can. Next one. They only made 800 million on the second movie. And that was before me and Daryl went out here and started bamming on doors and educating folks. Hey, you ever heard this cat named T'Challa? You didn't? Slide over. Let me talk to you real quick. That was before we started doing that. And we got him for 500 million. If you ask Kamoyo, we actually got him for 8. What you think we finna get him for in this third movie? Especially considering the move he just made. And the only thing Daryl and I are doing is growing the knowledge on all platforms. See, the thing is Ryan don't care, but some of y'all do. Ryan don't care about Black Panther. Some of y'all do. Ryan don't care about Shuri. Some of y'all do. Well, you're only going to be able to go a couple of places to get it. And if you right here with me right now, you're in one of those places. You ain't going to get it from the MCU. You ain't got to wait till 2028 to get you no Black Panther stuff. What we say over here in the Rock With Me Nation, we got Wakanda at the house. Big Ruben is pulled up in the building. Big Ruben, what's going on? Let me see. Yeah, S. Jack said, folks, be cool. Hey, let them be cool. Did you? Yeah, yeah, she did. Like I said, she looked upset, but I'm not going to project. I said so-called Theo not to ask who wanted to see 2 Black Panthers. True. My fault, sure. My fault. Coogler 3, let's go. That's what it is. That's Coogler 3. That's cool. If I can't pull up to you and have a Black Panther conversation, you finna start off with Ryan. No, that ain't Black Panther nothing. That's Coogler 3. That's cool, and that's how that need to be advertised. Take all the Black Panther font down, the words, all that. Let's put Coogler 3. Matter of fact, can somebody get me a picture of what that would look like? Coogler 3. We need to start putting that out there. It's Coogler 3. You're going to go see Coogler 3. You ain't going to see nothing Black Panther, nothing. Ryan Coogler 3, yeah. That's it. That's what that is. That's what that is. That's Coogler 3. And folks need to understand that. Heck, T'Challa would never slip up with villain and random baby that Coogler foolery. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He's shorter than that. He's looking Leticia Wright eye to eye, and I know for a fact she is 5'4". Yeah. So let's talk about this for a second. Because I mentioned this yesterday. Well, you know what? No, I'm not gonna mention that. I covered that yesterday. We're gonna keep the show fresh. Yeah, he's been cooked for a while now as far as Marvel projects are concerned. Okay. I think Coogler has the keys to this demise, and Kevin like, F it up then. Kind of is what that is. I think it speaks to the executives being oblivious to what the fans are asking for. But then again, that's the fan base's fault. That's the fan. I had to talk to AI because I've never seen it before where folks didn't care about the titular character. If you went to go see Spider-Man, you cared about Peter Parker. You went to go see Batman, you cared about Bruce Wayne. You went to go see Superman, you care about Clark Kent. Arthur Curry is relatively new in live action. You go see Aquaman, you care about Arthur Curry. You go see Blade, you care about Blade. I ain't never seen where folks go see a movie and don't give two damns about the titular character. Even that nonsense about the actor, I miss me with the actor passed away, because you never stopped caring about Clark Kent just because Christopher Reeve passed away. You didn't. This is wild for me, and it's so wild for me because I'm looking at black people. Like, I can't, this ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, because this ain't on them. I'm looking at black people, I'm like, damn, you get tossed the alley-oop. How black folks fumble the bag with the #1 black superhero? Like, it shouldn't even be on Marvel Studio. Black folks unanimously should have said, no, we're gonna take a couple of years off and then we'll come back and revisit. I got black folks being disingenuous, hypocritical, practicing cognitive dissonance. Like, a black person will make an excuse for William Hurt, make sure I say this right, Paul Walker, and Christopher Reeve. Black folks will make an excuse for that. But with T'Challa and William Hurt sit right there, and you never hear a Ryan Coogler fan open up their mouth. You didn't even hear Ryan Coogler fans celebrate that there was a Black Panther action figure. It's like, no, this Black Panther action figure has nothing to do with Ryan's vision. So we don't care about anything outside of Ryan's vision. Ryan didn't create Black Panther. Ryan is not the reason why you got African authenticity in the first Black Panther movie. It's the dude y'all keep saying y'all were doing this for. And it's on record. Running to social media wanting to be mad about some stuff you don't even know what you're mad about. Running behind Ryan Coogler, a director, in ways you never ran behind a director when it comes to a fictional character, and not giving two damns about the titular character, that's a wild moment to me. But here's what I'm looking at. It ain't just the person that goes to the movie, unless we're taking a look at who all goes to the movie. Roland Martin falls into the role of stupidity or ignorance. Pick one. Anthony Mackie is playing a role. He falls right into that same category of ignorance or stupidity. Jamel Hill is a credible journalist. She falls right there in that. Yahia Abdul-Mateen, he just plays Simon Will. He falls right there. Winston Duke fall into that. Leticia Wright, in ways nobody ever associated with a Batman, Superman, Spider-Man project would ever fall into. They're going to get them characters right. They're going to respect the source material. People might feel some type of way about the casting, but no, if you watch a Green Lantern film, somebody's going to say, in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evils might beware my power, Green Lantern's like. That's what's going to happen. And you as the general audience member, you as the casual superhero fan, you're going to be able to say some of that. You're going to be able to say some of that. You're going to go to a Spider-Man movie. You ain't even got to low-key be a Spider-Man fan. You're going to get to that part. You're going to say, with great power comes great responsibility. In essence, you've been conditioned to accept every character that don't look like you. But the one that looks like you, who is supposed to represent the best in all black superheroes, you will let Ryan Coogler tell you that character is interchangeable. T'Challa and Shuri aren't no more interchangeable than Shuri and Toussaint. Those are not the same characters. They're not. And if I got to tell you as a Ryan Coogler fan that there is no such character as Toussaint and you don't give two damns, I can't talk to you. Because you're not going to ever say that about Superman. You're never going to say that about Batman. But as a black person, you're going to open up your mouth, poke your whole chest out, and you're going to talk down to somebody who's championing the cause of a black superhero, the premier black superhero. You're going to flex your chest. That's wild. That's wild to me. Toussaint, not Toussaint. My elder, Mr. Ray Smith, just pulled up in the building. How you doing, sir? You see, we putting everything down. I didn't even took down the diorama set. That yeah, got to put everything. Got to put everything up. Oh, let me see here. Ryan Coogler, writing director. What's going on, Kevin Davis? Director, Black Panther franchise, has got say in things no matter how the audience feels. T'Challa is never coming back. Let it go. When you say he's never coming back and you say let it go, what do you mean when you say he's never coming back? Because he never left. I got comic books with T'Challa in them. And I don't know if you just now pulling up, but my allegiance ain't to Ryan Coogler. I don't give two damn about what Ryan Coogler got going on. I don't. I don't rely on Ryan Coogler for no knowledge when it comes to T'Challa. I don't. So when you say let it go, that's crazy. Would you tell me to let it go when Superman took a dirt nap? I'm just trying to figure out, is it because this character is who he is, you feel comfortable enough to say that? Now, mind you, if you're pulling up over here in regards to, out of respect for the actor that portrayed the character, the actor wouldn't give up either. So I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from. Now, if you just trolling, pick another target. This ain't gonna get you what you want. Moving right along. Moving right along. What's going on? The lovely Grand Madam has pulled up in the building. What is going on? Should have said, I think they should have had writers who added to T'Challa's story in the comics, right? Somebody. But if you read the stories, Black Panther 3, David Jonsson got a role. Cool. We want that brother to be employed. We don't want him to lose no employment. No, we don't. Leticia Wright, Shuri, right? Need a character arc, cool, right? We don't want to do nothing like that. No, we gonna show respect to people. Go with me here. I'm just a fan. I'm just a nerd. I'm just a nerd. Go with me here. Black Panther 3. You watched the second Black Panther movie? You remember the deleted scene when Okoye's tribal elder was talking to her and everything like that? He was kind of wanting her and Shuri to do this right here. Clearly, but it ain't up to no good. He got his own agenda, right? So us being nerds, we're not gonna do one for one. Let's borrow for some comic book stories, right? So we open up. Y'all gonna like this. We open up Black Panther 3. I'm sorry, Coogler 3. No, because I'm writing this Black Panther 3, right? We got to establish a sense of urgency. Amen. Amen. So we got Buddy talking to his folks. Right. Got him low-key talking to somebody else. We say Denzel Washington gonna be a part of this. Cool. Denzel Washington convinces Buddy to summon Morlun. Hey, if you summon him, you can go ahead and get what you want in Wakanda. Buddy going along with this because he don't know what Morlun is capable of. He don't even know what he's doing. But they summoned Morlun, and Morlun convinces to do to them what he did to the hyena and the lion tribe. Just go ahead and get them on up out of there, right? So now he's making his way to Wakanda, right? So we don't, like I said, we don't want David. We want David to get some long money. We want to get some long. We just not trying to have him get no long money as the son of T'Challa. We're not doing that, right? But we do want him to get some long money. Now we understand that Marvel has the mutants, right? They got access to them, and we understand they're gonna introduce the mutants and tell us some good mutant stuff, right. Well, we already know just off the rip they only gonna focus on one mutant of color. That would be Ororo. But you know what this story allows us to do? Because we can low-key put Shuri in the same position T'Challa was when he teamed up with Eden Fessy, aka Manifold, to go get Shuri. Right. So in this particular movie, David Jonsson could play the role of Manifold. Yep, could play the role of Manifold, right? We have them go into, because T'Challa, we saw the body go up. You didn't see the body go into no ground. We got Shuri missing her brother. Kind of like how Ta-Nehisi Coates had T'Challa missing his sister. And she loses sleep. She loses sleep. And M'Baku, who's actually portrayed to be more intelligent than what he was in the comics, he said, hey, I know a guy that might be able to help you with this, but it's going to be risky. And he introduces her to David Jonsson, right? They go try and bring back T'Challa. Here's the thing. You can't bring back T'Challa because Mephisto, we got Akibe, we got Mephisto, we got Sacha Baron already on call. Mephisto ain't gonna let him go like that. I need a soul for a soul. So Shuri and Manifold make their way back to Wakanda just in time, because M'Baku is trying to make it do what it do with Morlan, who is going ham in Wakanda. Now here's the scary part. This would be Ryan Coogler doing this. And we know what happened when M'Baku ran up on Morlan in the comic books. We know that. Ain't got to be one for one. It ain't. It ain't got to be one for one. But we know Ryan's track record. He like deleting folks. He'll delete folks that ain't got no business being deleted. So somebody that has been deleted already, like, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I like Winston Duke. I've told y'all I like Winston Duke. But I would have Winston Duke actually show off his fighting prowess in ways we've never seen before in the MCU. I would have Winston Duke get injured. I think that just raises the stakes to it. Right? Have Shuri, Leticia Wright, Manifold, David Jonsson battling Morlan. And because of what Manifold is capable of, he teleports Morlan to where T'Challa is, and Mephisto makes a happy deal with it, because Morlan got a whole bunch of souls within him. Yeah, he got a whole bunch of souls. So then we can see Shuri, a la T'Challa, in the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, bring her brother back from the land of the, what do we want to call it? Purgatory. We'll say purgatory. Bring her brother back from purgatory, and he would look different. Should look different, considering he didn't spend his time down there and everything like that. We get Leticia Wright still playing her role as Shuri. We get David Jonsson, not as Toussaint, but he is going to play a role that he can stay a part of in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. We like Manifold. We do. And because we're not doing one for one, watch this. While we know Manifold ain't Wakandan, right? Just to simplify stuff, we're going to make him a Wakandan mutant. Yeah. Everybody would be happy. Ryan Coogler fans would be ecstatic. Your boy just gave you another banger. I don't necessarily know if that plot would get you what you need for the movie budget and everything like that, but I'm pretty sure it'll come close. That opens you up for some brand new action figures. You can give us a realistic MCU version of Morlan. You could give us a realistic MCU version of Akibe. You owe us a Sacha Baron Mephisto, so you can go ahead and get that on out there and everything like that. You could also give us a Marvel Cinematic version of Manifold. Yeah, them some nice action figures. Them some nice. You could actually give us an updated M'Baku. Don't give us that version with all that stuff on, because that severely limits the articulation and everything like that. You got you some nice action figures. I'm trying to help you out. I don't want to be the person just gonna criticize. No, I'm gonna help you out. I think my three is better than his three. Let me see. Covered all this compilation vid coming soon. What's going on? That's my brother. He said he covered it. You mean the Djalia? I don't necessarily know if I want to call it the Djalia because Ryan ain't necessarily doing stuff. I got to explain some stuff why he wasn't in the Djalia. And then when you actually look at the comic book story in and of itself, T'Challa wasn't in the Djalia. He wasn't. That ain't where Ororo went and got him from. So I kind of want to, pay respects to the comics and not overcook the grits and everything like that. Great question, though, Shuri. Great question. Wasn't Shuri put in suspended animation? If you want to say what Proxima Midnight did to her, putting her in suspended animation, you can say that. You can say that. You could. I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't argue. But she was kind of like, now Shuri was in the Djalia. She was actually in the Djalia. T'Challa wasn't, but she was actually in the Djalia. No to Ryan Coogler doing anything with Wakanda. There, Mr. Ray Smith said he not hearing none of that. And take your Coogler members only. That would be coming from D. Steezel. Dang. That pause and war unit. Oh, it's sitting right there. What's going on, Ramaphosa? What's going on, big dog? That guy that told you to give up on T'Challa, tell him to give up. Hey, you know what? You know what? It'd be one of them things where somebody like that ain't got no better time. And as I don't want to say grow more and more confident in my role in this as your Wakandan griot right there. Elephants don't swat flies. Elephants don't swat flies. And I'm gonna give it up to my brother Daryl. When him and Kamoyo said a while ago, when you got the knowledge, you don't go back and forth with people. And you can tell soon as somebody pull up 4 or 5 words out their mouth, whether or not they got that knowledge or not. Now I ain't got time for that. And then I'm Generation X too. I'll be to mess around and spent the whole half an hour, the rest of the show, talking about the dude, and he done already checked out. So no, I don't. Yeah. You got him again. Boy, did he ever pull up in the wrong chats? Yeah. He in the wrong chat. And the thing is, ain't got to. If you have been keeping up with the news since they came to the stage on Saturday, and what do we keep saying? Wait till they come to the stage. There are 3 camps. You got T'Challa, you got Shuri, you got Ryan Coogler. Okay, well, clearly he don't fall into the recast T'Challa camp. It's folks, it's groups out there having conversation. Doesn't seem like he fell into the Shuri camp either. So you're a Ryan Coogler fan. Well, Ryan Coogler got fan bases all over social media. Why would you pull up over here? Because Ryan Coogler can't teach me nothing about Black Panther. Ryan Coogler can't teach anybody from the Rock With Me Nation anything about Black Panther. And I do not believe that a Ryan Coogler fan can teach a Rock With Me Nation fan member anything about Black Panther. You know why? Because that's all we talk about over here. But the stupid thing is thinking is that all we talk about is T'Challa. No, we talk about Wakanda. There's a difference. All y'all talk about is Ryan Coogler. We talk about recast T'Challa. Talk about Wakanda. We're not the same. We ain't. Y'all cap for an individual. We cap for there we go. Makes sense. It was purgatory. Yeah, that's why I said that. Didn't want to get them confused. Yeah, I meant deadly of the species. So yeah. So my brother Darryl gonna come up and everything like that. I try to tell folks when it comes to covering Black Panther, it ain't but like a few channels dedicated to it. More often than not. One of them is mine. The other one is his. We not here for the back and forth. Yeah, I don't know. That's the other thing. Folks think we're not here for the back and forth. We're here to drop knowledge. You either care about that knowledge or you don't. But go back and forth with you in regards to the validity of Ryan Coogler, stop. I bought the Black Panther Penguin Classics Marvel Collection book. Now I just need some free time to sit down and read it. You know what? It's going to sound real crazy when I say it, Daniel. Anytime you go use the bathroom. Anytime you go use the restroom, big dog, they're like, you know what? Remember when we used to read the newspaper? Remember when we used to have a newspaper? Remember that? Remember when we used to going there like this right here yonder, and said, we would never know her. Well, we just sit down, hey, baby, where you at? Reading the paper. You know, when the bathroom became the depot office for all husbands and dads and everything like that. I'm finna go to the office. Some of us would even refer to it as the office. Get out of town. So let me keep up with this right here and everything. I appreciate all y'all pulling up. We talking knowledge. If you got questions and everything like that, we gonna do our best to provide the answers. Yeah, we are. Let me see here. I want to make sure I covered everything. Shuri being tossed to the side for Toussaint. Yeah, that's that hurt right there. I think we covered the possibilities of Shuri going forward in the. No, we didn't. I don't know where this character goes in the MCU. I know some folks may or may not care. Like I said, we've heard the concerns in regards to black actors being employed and everything like that. I don't know. Clearly, she makes it out of Secret Wars. Clearly, she makes it out of Secret Wars. Now, from what Ryan was saying, Ryan Coogler 3 is supposed to be a transitional film. So I don't, what's the sense of urgency? Why the transition? As a Black Panther fan, I'm like, I don't see no Hunan in this. I don't see no Takanda in this. So why is Shuri yielding the mantle? Turkana didn't yield the mantle until she brought her dad back from being kidnapped. Nahanda didn't yield the mantle until she was in her 70s. She was old as dirt. She just wasn't losing to nobody. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Now I do know we got King Zentra the Burrell, but I don't think Shuri is gonna sell out Wakanda like he sold out Wakanda. So I'm trying to figure out, and she's coming back from a major battle. Like this is the battle. Dr. Doom. What's going on in Wakanda where he got to step in? Because we got Shuri, the protector of Wakanda, and then we got M'Baku, the king of Wakanda. Crazy. That's the two fiercest warriors in Wakanda. Is she just gonna say, I want to go back to being a nerd? Like she just gonna say, I don't want the responsibility of being a Black Panther anymore? Because that definitely ain't comic book canon. Because she definitely feel like she should be the Black Panther. Like she feel like that. What's that? I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Let me hold on. Appreciate that, Mr. Crater. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I promised myself to start back your channel, man. Thanks for these discussions. Absolutely. Absolutely. We nerds, we gonna nerd on out. That's what this channel is for. A place where Black Panther fans can come nerd out and feel safe. And if you don't know that much about it, this is a place where you come learn. That's what that is. So I'm trying to figure out how Shuri, the griot, the AI is already called the griot. The AI is already called the griot. So she gonna say, well, I need that name for myself now. I don't. And Ryan ain't really showing me he cared that much about African culture. Like I said, the person that cared about African culture, the folks that made us feel like we was in Africa, that person has passed away. And as some have alluded to, even in the second movie, Wakandans was speaking way more English than a little bit. Well, that's coming from the person that's there now. When I watch a film that's supposed to be dealing with African culture, I want a film that's dealing with African culture. I want some African mythology. I don't want African American nothing. I don't want European American nothing. I don't want Asian American nothing. And we've already got Asian American in a Black Panther film. When we look at Riri Williams' Suit of Armor, that's based off of Japanese animation, Bubblegum Pop. That's Ryan Coogler. He likes Japanese animation. That ain't got nothing to do with Black Panther. My love for Speed Racer ain't got nothing to do with Black Panther. My love for One Punch Man and My Hero Academia ain't got a doggone thing to do with Black Panther. In essence, you shouldn't be able to see them influences in Black Panther, nothing. I got way too much African culture over there for me to be doing that. Why we ain't getting no suit designed off of Zulu influences? If we want to talk about African American, and I love Africa, I love America so much, why wasn't my suit of armor designed after somebody that's an African American? Like I said, I want the African, I want the Afrofuturism when I go see a Black Panther movie. I don't want Oakland, California. I don't want Compton, California. I don't want to be reminded of nothing about boys in the hood. I don't want that. No, I'm supposed to get something specific with this. This is Afrofuturism, not Afro appropriation, not Afro colonialism. I don't want that. I don't want that. We could have gotten that Hudlin inauguration and Shuri the Warrior movie, but instead we got Killmonger Coogler self-insert. And every Coogler fan knows that. They don't need to be mad about that. Y'all the ones that came away from the movie talking about, hey, auntie. Y'all the ones came from the movie talking about Black Panther should either be Shuri or T'Challa. You ain't never, I'm going to say Shuri or Killmonger. You ain't never walked out no Batman movie talking about Selena or the Joker should be Batman. You ain't never done that. You ain't never done that. You ain't never walked into no Superman movie talking about, oh, Superman, Lex Luthor should be Superman. Stop. You just watch James Gunn's Superman. I didn't hear nobody say nothing about Lois being Clark. I did. Over here, this is what you're doing. And you're doing it off the strength of what? You can, but like I said, you're a Coogler fan. You're going to go see Coogler 3. This ain't got nothing to do with Black Panther. This ain't got nothing to do with T'Challa. It low-key ain't had nothing to do with T'Challa ever since Njobu got introduced as his uncle, because I'm still trying to figure out who the Njobu is. So I better not see Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther 3. I swear to Bass. Moving right along. Marvel at this point isn't even trying to hide. It's coming from Big Ruben. Marvel at this point isn't even trying to hide their patterns anymore, from TV shows to video games to movies. This is what I'm going to say, Big Ruben. See, I don't necessarily know if I want to use the racist word, right? I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier showrunner, that was a brother. That was a brother. Nate Moore greenlit and fast tracked the Eternals. You saw what happened with Fastos? That was Nate Moore. Now, mind you, Nate Moore has been there every step of the way. And if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you remember what them plans was 3 months after Black Panther came out. 3 months. What they was talking about doing in May. The movie was either still in the movie theaters, or it was just now being released on Blu-ray in the stores. But 3 months after the fact, Nate and Ryan were having a conversation. You know that. 3 months after the movie debut and everybody losing their cookies to get 1.3 billion, Ryan and Nate and Ryan had a conversation. You know that. They didn't refute it. If we go back to when Nate was on Ringerverse, he said it was just him and Ryan. They didn't talk to anybody else. It was him and Ryan. Ryan to tell you, it was just me and Nate. You got Kevin coming along. That's what I said. Kevin been covering his his back. Kevin said, oh no, I wanted to recast. The casting crew told me not to. Well, during this last Hall of H introduction, Kevin had nothing to do with this. Kevin is once again saying, hey, Ryan called me. We weren't even conducting a talent search for no male in Black Panther. It's coming from Kevin. Google it. Google it. I promise you. I'm like the pastor at church. Oh, please do not believe me. Please look it up for yourself. Kevin said this was Ryan. Ryan was in a back room and made this deal on his own. You know what you're not getting? You're not getting Ryan saying, no, that ain't how that happened. That ain't how that happened. This was all Kevin's idea. Nope. This was Ryan. So here's what you're looking at. As a Black Panther fan, if Ryan ain't doing nothing, they come to the stage. They may or may not have a Black Panther 3 announcement, but if they tell you they releasing Black Panther 3 in 2028, they're not telling you they've cast Toussaint. They're not telling you that. Ryan went specific, and this has nothing to do with how credible the actor is, because I know some folks want to make it about that. This ain't about that. This ain't about that. This is not to diminish from what the young man has accomplished. What this is to state is this: Captain America will always be 6 feet tall. Captain America and T'Challa are supposed to be mirror images of one another. If Steve Rogers is handsome, T'Challa is supposed to be handsome. If Steve Rogers is 6 feet tall, T'Challa is supposed to be 6 feet tall. See, the thing is, we got to take into consideration who created T'Challa, and we're giving way more credence to the sexy flexy director who is taking it, making the world of Wakanda more and more American than the 2 Jewish German Americans that actually created the character. We don't remember T'Challa sitting up in his best Lou Rawls outfit. I want my wife to make one. I got to start working out. The rope vest. My dog just sitting up there in Wakanda like this with a rope vest on, pectoral muscles all out and everything, 6-pack abs showing. I'm like, the hell? I got it. You ain't gonna ever see that. You ain't gonna ever see that. Now, what they are talking about, what you're going to see, and I asked somebody to think about it today. They said, Theo, I said, yeah, it's me on TikTok. How do you feel about the possibility of a Ororo Monroe Toussaint relationship? In essence, how do I feel about Ororo Monroe, the love of T'Challa's life, getting busy with the son of T'Challa that Ryan Coogler created? My response was, that's sick. That's sick. The fact that you can even formulate that as a question makes it sick, because you know what we're never going to talk about? We're never going to talk about the possibility of a story where the son of Batman is smashing either Selena or Talia. We're never going to have a story entertain a question about Clark's son, Jonathan, in any reality, smashing Lois. We never going to have that conversation. It could be a child of Clark's that ain't Jonathan. That we're not doing that. And I want us to think about what we're being asked to accept when it comes to our favorite superheroes, Black superheroes. Think about the fact that you can even formulate that as a question. Therein lies the problem. Because you shouldn't be talking, we shouldn't be talking about the son of T'Challa banging Ororo. We should be talking about T'Challa banging Ororo. No differently than we talk about Clark and Lois, No different than we talk about Barry and Iris. No different than we talk about Reed and Sue. Right? No different than we talk about Peter and Mary Jane. Over here with this character, we're actually considering settling for something that when you think about it, is just nasty, vile, and disgusting. And yet we gonna actually entertain it. There are grown black men and women, and I keep going back to us. There are grown black women that have no problem with her being an out of wedlock baby mama. And I'm talking about Nakia. There are grown behind black women saying in Ryan have no problem with Nakia being an unwed baby mama. You know what you'll do is you will go on social media, rant and rave, but you won't ask the simple question: why didn't Ryan have them get married off camera? Let me see. T'Challa slept with her off camera. T'Challa got her pregnant off camera. T'Challa contracted a fatal disease off camera, but couldn't marry her off camera. But in Ryan, we trust. In Ryan, he can do all that off camera, but he can't. You mean to tell me the same dude that Eric Killmonger said was too noble when Shuri ran into him in the Dajaya? The same dude that said T'Challa was too noble. The too noble dude didn't marry his pregnant girlfriend that he was in love with, so much to the point where he froze in the first movie when he saw her. Okay. All right. Once again, you can like Ryan, but according to what I looked at when it comes to bios, it created writing in college. Only one of us studied creative writing in college. I don't think I'm the only one who took writing classes either. I don't think that. Keep preaching. A part of me feels like Kevin and crew don't want the real T'Challa in all his glory on film because of the pedestal RDJ's Tony Stark and now Doom has been put on as the central star. Appreciate that, CRT Smooth. Appreciate that. Boycott Activision. Rhodey isn't a race swap. No, he's not. He's not. Rhodey is not. I know better than to argue with Ahmad. I said what I said. Well, let me see. Coogler trying too hard to win an Oscar with emotional actors like Jonsson. Hold on, because I want to. Let's not count War Machine. He's basically a race swap. Okay, let's do this. We comic book fans. We nerds. It's either canon or it's not. It's either canon or it's not. Right? And so when we say War Machine is a race swap, what comic book we talking? It's either canon or it's not. Right? And this ain't no argument. It ain't that. Because I don't know everything. So this would be the time where education is key. What? Because I remember reading Demon in a Bottle. I know that Pepper was never interested in Tony. She was interested in Happy Hogan. I know they got together. I know James Rose is Tony's friend. And I know the only reason why James Rose put on the suit of armor is because Tony was drunk. He was alcoholic. Right? And so James Rose dons Tony's suit of armor, and he develops migraine headaches from it because the suit of armor ain't attuned to him. Then we go along, we get this whole thing called Armor Wars, right? And then Tony develops a suit of armor specifically for James Rose, a la War Machine. And this all takes place in Iron Man comic books. Now, I could have missed something. I don't know everything. But you say Iron Man is the original. With Tony still living in the comic books. Tony still in. So I want us to think about this. Let's be fair. So you say Tony Stark is the original Iron Man. Cool. So James Rose replaced him as Iron Man at one point, right? That wouldn't be a race swap. That wouldn't be a race swap. That would be a story being told. Because we don't see James Rose as Iron Man in the MCU. No, he's War Machine, right? And then you say the original one. That's kind of like saying Bruce was the original Batman. Ain't Richard also Nightwing? He's been Batman. He's been Batman. He's been a member of the Justice League as Batman, right? But it's Bruce and Dick, kind of like Tony and James. Like I don't know if you read comic books, but we just had a West Coast Avengers run where both Tony and James was there. James was not there as a replacement for Tony. James was there in addition to Tony. So you had Iron Man and War Machine. War Machine, Iron Man. We've had War Machine limited runs while we've had ongoing Iron Man runs. So I'm trying to, like that. We know what race swaps are, and we don't agree with them, right? We know what race swaps are. Perry White in James Gunn's Superman, that's a race swap. Yahia Abdul-Mateen as Simon Williams, Wonder Man, that's a race swap. We didn't ask for them. We don't ask for them. We don't agree with them. But James Rose was not a race swap. Yeah. So, and we can be wrong, right? Because we human. We prone to make mistakes. You made a mistake on this one. That's okay. I made mistakes before. I'm gonna make some more. Let me see. No, D. Steven, you was right. We have our different feelings. I prefer original Black characters. That's fine, but context matters. I prefer original Black characters too, but context matters. You can't say that's a race swap because somebody that does, you can feel like that, but you know better because you know the English language, right? And that's to a degree what we suffer from over here as Black Panther fans. Too many people saying what they feel as opposed to speaking with facts. I don't speak to feelings. I can feel how I want to feel. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Sometimes you can feel how you want to feel and your feelings not even be validated. So we speak on fact. You like original Black characters, so do I. We all do. But we're not going to misuse words either, right? The English language, meaning, context, all that stuff matters. So that's what it is. What's going on, brother Ray Alexander? Maybe we will have to get a young Storm. Remember, the X-Men are going to be so young. Oh, let me see here. Carter was bodying all versions. It's like saying John Stewart is a race swap. Yeah, but both Stewart and Rose are well developed. Thank you, Miles. Thank you. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. You're absolutely correct. Let me see. I think they win on. Yeah, I'm not. We could have a whole conversation about James Rhodes, whether we talking MCU or the comic books. And I know D. Steven would be a champion for that one and everything like that. There are things they need to be doing differently than with James Rhodes. If I'm gonna hear James Rhodes complaint, this is the one I want folks to talk about. It's 2026. James Rhodes has been paralyzed from the waist down in the MCU since 2016. In a universe where we got, I want to make sure I say this right. In a universe in which we got Stark Technology, Arc Reactor, the Extremis virus, and Vibranium, which, by the way, Vibranium has healed both Bucky and Everett Ross in like record time. Record time. Why is James Rhodes still walking around with a battery pack in his butt? I'm gonna keep going. Brother Ray Alexander says, I'm not a War Machine fan and I was new to Ironheart. Mechs aren't my thing. The mutants, the mutate, and supernatural side of the universe is my favorite. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, and that's fair. We can't all be experts in everything. I ain't either. They brought back Hal Jordan despite Kyle Rayner taking over the mantle of Green Lantern. What? Yeah, they did. You sound like a comic book fan. Roman, you read comic books? Iteration do you get in most cartoons? Yeah. Yeah. I be trying to tell folks, Hal was my Green Lantern. I like John. John is my favorite Green Lantern, but Hal nipped John just a little bit for my introduction and everything like that. But yeah, they went to Kyle Rayner, and now here's the damnest thing: Kyle Rayner Latino. Kyle Rayner is Latino, and I ain't heard nobody yet asking what Kyle at. You finna get this Green Lantern. You finna get you some John Stewart. You finna get you some Hal Jordan, and you finna get you some Guy Gardner. You don't want Kyle? Kyle represents the Latino community. I don't know, and Kyle is the most artistic Green Lantern, period. I want to say Kyle is the only Green Lantern to wield all the power rings, all of them. Like, he didn't master all the emotional spectrum. You ain't got it. John Stewart, Hawk Girl, and their son Warhawk is the truth. You know what? You know what, Brother Ray? I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. Safe space, safe space. We can agree to disagree, right? I ain't mad at that. I want John with fatality. Let him go. Let Shayera, Kendra, whatever they want to call her, let her go back on over there to Carter. Let her go back on over there to Carter. I don't want that. I know they put that out there in the cartoon and everything like that. I want checking for that. Let this brother, because he done been with Kat Matui and everything like that. Let him get him a sister. Let him. She can be from a whole different planet. That's fine. Let him get with the sister. I be needing my chocolate love. Like I be needing that. I need that. I ain't mad at interracial love. I'm not. You love who you love. I'm not mad at that. I'm not. I really believe that. You love who you love. But there's nothing wrong with seeing a brother with a sister with a brother either. They ain't nothing wrong with that. They ain't nothing wrong with me seeing that in comics and everything like that. I want them to be with fatality. You're not wrong though. I don't want you to, this ain't no back and forth. No, I like what you said. I like what you said. I do. If me. But him and Hawk Girl, they do make a cute couple. But let me see. You say you hope you get Jade and her brother too. Dang, I can't think of that dude. Obsidian, yeah. Obsidian, yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down. We're not gonna get that. Not gonna get that. Somebody would have to. James Gunn. Somebody would have to go to James Gunn and whisper Infinity Incorporated in his ear. And because it sounds so far out there, I believe he run with it. Theo B, old recast T'Challa is always finding something to complain. Mr. Roberts, 457. You mad? Because it seemed like you don't like recast. Why'd you pull up? Like, if you didn't like the title of the video, why'd you pull up? What time is it? 6:58. Your wife ain't home? You ain't got no dinner cooked. No athletic endeavors? You just hating. You scrolling the internet to see who you can hate on? Well, keep on hating, because, as Cat Williams say, you need at least one hater on your team, and you would be the second one that then pulled up today. Thank you. Appreciate that comment. John would be, yeah, I like John. Vixen needs some love. Why she can't get, yeah, Vixen needs some love. John needs, yeah, I like that. Get you some love. Like I said, I go way back though. And then, like I said, this ain't that. I remember when the Hawks were together with the Justice Society of America. I'm 58 years old. So I've been seeing the Hawks together way before we got to the Justice League cartoon. So that's what that is with me. Brother Alexander says, Mr. Rob was appreciate that, Harama. Where they coming from? Because they act like I'm capable of hurting their feelings. And I don't know how just me is capable of doing all that. Right? It ain't. I'm triggering folks. It's crazy. Appreciate that, Harama. Good looking. Go looking. Harama says D. Steezel. If so, that was way back. Yeah. Brother Ray says, I love the dynasties, the Marvel Wright, the Scott family, or in DC Superman family, and the Bat family. Yeah, I like stuff like that too. Daniel says, I'll admit, if I see Jasmine Crockett with a white man, I'm flying first class to Texas. This is I think she married to a brother. I think Jasmine is already married though. I'm team recast, Brother Ray Alexander. I'm team recast from the moment it went down. Why the character in it? Imagine if we hung up Superman's jersey after Reed. there's the consistency. Like I said, folks, this is why I don't entertain trolls. The troll can't have a conversation with me in regards to Christopher Reeve. The troll can't have a conversation in regards to Paul Walker. And the troll can't have a conversation in regards to William Hurt. They know those examples sit out there. It's a matter of whether or not they care. And so when they pull up, and I know you don't care, me going back and forth with you is doing you a favor. I already know you don't care. The thing is that if I don't care about something, I have a tendency to avoid things I don't care about. That's the mature thing to do. If you don't like it, you don't interact with it. What you see folks doing is, because you can't control me, you can't control my voice, you can't control my message. So you have folks, I don't know why they pulling up to hear stuff they don't want to hear, right? To listen to somebody they don't care about, don't know, and don't agree with, just to leave a comment that's going to help their channel out. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You're helping me out. So let me keep up here. Let me see. D. Steve Kyle was on Justice League cartoon as well. DOB, what about John with Joe Mullen? I like that, but I'm a respectful person. I'm a respectful person. And if I'm not mistaken, she's a member of the LGBTQ plus. And I'm a respectful person. And so I definitely, just like I don't agree with race swaps, gender swaps, I don't agree with orientation swaps. If that's how that character was created, she was created for a certain demographic. And I respect that. Now, the question would be, would I want her to be with a sister? Now that's the question. That's the real question right there. Is like, would I want her to be with a sister? I would prefer for her to be with a sister, but if she ain't, I want her to be who she is, and she is a bisexual. I know that she's been written as lesbian. Now, if she is bisexual, then yeah, write it like that. But that's me. That's me. So, let me see, Mr. Smith. Steve Kyle was on Justice League cartoon as well. He was. He pulled up in that episode where not the adapt, was it the Adaptoid? Yeah, it was the Adaptoid, was coming to Earth and everything like that, was gonna rain shop and everything like that. Yeah, he was in that episode. He was in that episode, and I want to say Hal was in that episode as well, because John kept flipping back and forth between them. Good catch, Mr. Smith. Good catch. Let's see here. Yeah, it was the episode with Amazo. Thank you. I said Adaptoid. Lord have mercy. I'll be watching that. But yeah, you're right. Good catch. Good catch. Good catch. So yeah, let's see here. We don't have too many black cool characters. I ain't never want to be Falcon. Even Sunspot in Marvel was originally supposed to look way more like Miles Morales. That was a sneaky D black. It was. I'm gonna tell you where I'm at, Mr. Ray Alexander. And you kind of said something. You kind of touched on something, right? With Sam Wilson, the Falcon. That was my first black male action figure back in the day, way back in the day, when we had Underoos and everything like that. Lieutenant Uhura was my first black action figure, period, because I'm a Trekkie. I bought the whole Star Trek set. The problem, and mind you, when I'm buying Underoos, wearing Underoos and everything like that, I'm living with my mother in the Bronx, New York. 3318 3rd Avenue, apartment 5A, 10456. Never forget stuff like that. Going to JHS 120, right? Not too far down the street from Fordham Road. Crazy Eddie, prices are insane. I like Sam. I'm living in New York. Sam is from Harlem. I'm from Bronx. I couldn't tell. That's the problem today with way too many black superheroes. Their ethnicity just stops at the melanin. We like them because who they are. But if we think about it, when we write Sam Wilson, regardless of whether we write Sam Wilson as the Falcon or write Sam Wilson as Captain America, do Sam walk and talk like he from Harlem? He make you feel like he from Harlem? Or does he just sound like the cookie cutter brother or sister that's a black superhero from anywhere in the world, long as Marvel DC writing? Those are real conversations to be had from a writing standpoint. I said earlier, and stay with me here, for those that like to write, I said earlier, only one of us, me and Ryan, only one of us went to school for creative writing with a minor in communications. It wasn't Ryan. But before I did that, I'd already wrote my first novel with various characters in it. There's a lesson, there's a trick that writers use to keep their characters distinctive so that they can hear those individual voices. So the voices don't all sound the same. They design their characters based off of somebody they know. And that character is going to consistently talk like that person. That character is going to consistently act like that person. You think about it, you're reading a book. How do you know how to differentiate between the characters? When you watch a movie comes from a script. A script is a written form of work. Well, how does the writer and directors know the personality of the characters on the paper? It's because of how the author has written. And they've been listening to voices. If I write a book right now that's got multiple characters in it, I can base a character off of D. Steezel. That character will not sound like my brother Daryl. That character will not sound and act like a shooter. That character won't sound and act like Kamoyo. They ain't going to be named after them, but they will definitely be patterned after them. Okay, well, I'll wait for it. Give me the black superhero in comic books that's black. The best story we got, and I heard Daryl talk about it, was when we were talking about Power, where you got Signal and Jace as Batman interacting, and they play spades. If you don't know our culture when it comes to spades, you didn't get the reference. But those of us that play spades, Joker, Deuce, Deuce, we were like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all finna bust some spades? When have you ever seen a character that's black say anything like, we busting spades tonight? Like, you use any type of cultural slang that we use. I ain't never seen Sam in no Timberlands. Who don't own some Butters from New York? Man, stop. That is one relationship that I've always wanted to see more. Sup, Daniel? Daniel in the building. What's going on? Cloak and Dagger wasn't very successful last I checked. There's a reason for that. Like I said, you can make the statement, but ask why. I like Cloak and Dagger, but I'm not dealing drugs. So that story ain't really relating to me. I'm living in Southwest Georgia at the time. Okay, well, I'm living in a part of America that don't really embrace interracial relationships. So once again, I'm having a difficult time relating to this. Folks, make statements. Ask the question why. Ask the question why. I don't think I was the only one having an issue relating to Cloak and Dagger because of the things that I just said. That is the problem with too many of characters of color. They're not relatable other than the fact they black. We read these comics, we're not finna act like they put the best writers on them. We read these comics, we're not finna act like they put the best artists on them. There's some attraction there. If the artwork suck, the writing suck, what we supposed to do with the character? Just saying, never saw the show or series. I'm still disgruntled about Jonathan Majors and that deleted Avengers trilogy. You should be. You should be. As I stated to people, folks, the truth ain't here to be argued. You ain't got to like what I'm saying. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jonathan Majors got did dirty. Was he guilty of the crimes he was charged with? Yes, he was. But nobody wants to seriously talk about what he was charged with. He was charged with trying to put her in the car forcefully, and she hit, which could cause her to have an injury because she didn't want to get in the car, and hitting her head on the car when she was getting in. That's what he was found guilty of. And as a legal specialist, they were right to charge him with that. They were right to find him guilty of that. None of that adds up to what Ezra Miller was charged with and convicted of before he got to do Flashpoint. What he did and was convicted of doesn't compare to what Ezra Miller did. Ezra Miller kept the movie, got paid from the movie. Movie was hot trash, but he got it. So you're absolutely right to be in your feelings in regards to Jonathan Majors. That was right. But let's stay right here. How many of us know what I just said? That what I just said was right, and we still F with the MCU. You know how many people complain about Jonathan Majors being done dirty and still F with the MCU? Make it make sense. How they supposed to learn if you don't teach them? They wrong. How they supposed to learn they got it wrong with your demographic if you don't show them they got it wrong? There are way too many folks that call themselves mad about what happened to Jonathan Majors, still talking about the MCU, still paying money for the MCU, still interviewing the MCU, still promoting the MCU. You know I ain't lying. We all know the hey. Unfortunately, Ryan Clark just got caught. And let me just say this. There's a fellow YouTuber called Amazing Lucas. I'm real careful about celebrating someone's downfall, regardless of who they are. I'm real mindful about, celebrating certain things that aren't tactful. Like if somebody passes away, whether you agree with them or not, you don't jump up and down for joy. Amazing Lucas was wrong. Which is crazy to me because this is a dude who used to be diehard Republican, and then all of a sudden had a change of life. Now he diehard American. He's one of those light-skinned brothers that is angrier than the darkest skinned brother, right? Made fun of what Ryan Clark experienced. Made fun of the interview that Ryan Clark did on his own show, The Pivot. You can go so hard sometimes to try and point out racism or say brothers and sisters aren't woke to the point where you really make yourself look stupid in front of everybody. Ryan Clark shouldn't have got fired. But those of us who work in those circles, see, you working for you. But those of us that work in those circles, we know what that's like to have to turn it down. And I want you to think about something. If they're saying turn it down, that means you already walk in on 10. That means, Lucas, Ryan didn't come into ESPN as a Republican. Ryan didn't have to learn the errors of his ways, that he was supporting people that were supporting the downfall of his people. See, you had to learn that, big dog. You had to come into your own on that one. Ryan walked into ESPN so black that they had to tell him to turn it down. And even when he turned it down, he was still so black they had to fire him. You been fired because you was too black, Lucas? You been told to pack up your bags because you're too black? It's easier to talk about somebody when you ain't never been in their shoes. But you're supposed to be pro-black. You whiffed on that one. If you were going to talk about somebody getting it wrong, you're supposed to talk about ESPN. They got it wrong. But what you chose to do, instead of keeping the main thing, you wanted to make light of a brother who goal, aspirations is to be the best at whatever he's doing. He did that in college. He did that in the NFL. And he was doing that while he was working for ESPN. And I believe he's going to continue to strive to be the best at whatever he takes up. There was nothing wrong with him wanting to be one of the best sports analysts at ESPN. He's got trophies sitting at his house for it. That means regardless of him being black, being pro-black, he still outshined everyone else to the point where all they could do was acknowledge his greatness. It's effed up when brothers and sisters can't do that for one another. You would rather poke fun. Why? Because he went to go work for ESPN. Here we go. Why aren't you asking where's the Black Sports Network at? That way, Ryan and those like Ryan ain't got to do that. It's easy to make fun of somebody, ain't it, big dog? Sound real immature. Very much so immature. And let me just say this in regards to immaturity, because I'm seeing all of this all over again, especially when it comes to Black Panther. I was raised, if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. I was raised in school. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. I was taught by Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, Marine Corps. If you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. There are more than enough people that do not know what they're talking about in regards to Black Panther, won't shut up, regardless of who you are. You'd rather be entertaining than be knowledgeable. And that is the problem with our people right now. We would rather be entertained than be educated. And we wonder why. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Listen, I'm about to get on up out of here. Ron Fall says Ryan Coogler thinks that just cause Wakanda Forever Centers was successful amongst the sheep, he can do whatever he wants with Black Panther. Hey, they ain't pointing him in no direction. I'm in the boardroom. You absolutely cannot be a killmonger. You can barely be a shooter. You have to be T'Challa or you're a target or a predator. Appreciate that, Steve. Appreciate that. So this kid is supposed to be in the Midnight Suns. I got the Midnight Suns at the house. I got Wakanda at the house. Mr. Ray Alexander, I appreciate you pulling up, but we be trying to not, we go above and beyond and not lean on the MCU for none of that stuff. We go get all our stuff. On my back wall, it used to have the comic books and the action figures on it. We getting ready to move, but oh no, no. When we say we got Wakanda at the house, remember when they say Eric burnt down all the heart-shaped herbs and everything like that? Yeah, okay. My wife is a whiz when it comes to crochet and stuff and everything like that. I said, babe, she said, yeah. I say, I need a heart-shaped herb. She said, how you want it? They make these things called lily purses, crochet, right? Right. I say, I just need the front part of the lily purse. I got my heart-shaped herb at the house. You see how big that bud is? We're not getting caught up on that nonsense over there. Boycott Activision said, no Blade, no T'Challa in Secret Wars. I will not be in the theater. You are not by yourself. Ain't we saving some money? And we ain't even have to switch the Geico. Look at God, want to do it? What you say? Roll it up, Brother Ray. Oh, never mind. Brother Ray say that made me so mad when they burnt down all those herds. I'm like, TL, those are major. I'm sitting there like this. So the heart-shaped herbs only grow in one place in Wakanda? It's a plant. I'm looking at Ryan Coogler like them, like, in your Wakanda, the heart-shaped herb only grow one place? That's crazy. That's great. But hey, you like it, I love it. Speaking of heart-shaped herb, because we Black Panther fans, right? Not to be confused with Ryan Coogler fans, help me out. The organic heart-shaped herb gets you into the desire to have a conversation with Bass. Am I correct? What does the synthetic heart-shaped herb get you? Because that's what Shuri took. Kind of like what Eric did in the comic books. But we know when Eric took it, he ain't have no spiritual connection with Bass. Just like we know when Casper Cole took it, he ain't have no spiritual connection with Bass. So Shuri took this in Black Panther 2. How she wound up in the Djalia? But then again, I could ask how Eric wound up in the Djalia. But hey, matter of fact, how was Eric able to make it out the Djalia? Because he had already attacked T'Challa, right? And we know Bass chose T'Challa from birth, right? His whole bloodline, right? And we know based on that Deadliest of the Species run, just because you go to the Djalia don't mean you come out the Djalia, right? Right. And Bass kind of strict, right? She kind of strict. Because she didn't let Shuri walk out with the abilities of the Panther. She let her walk out. And Zuri was surprised by that. Because he said, hey, if she don't like you, you normally don't come out the Djalia. So how did Eric go to the Djalia to see anybody and make it out? Because Eric went to Djalia, had a conversation with Njobu, but then chop it up with Bass. How? You know what? I'm going to act like I'm a Coogler fan and say I don't care. I'm going to act like I'm a Coogler fan. I'm going to say it don't matter. I'm going to act like I'm a Coogler fan, and I'm going to say stop expecting 1 for 1. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. She's seen Killmonger. What's going on the Culture Made channel? Looks like she get a trip to hell. Let me catch this up. I'm gonna get right with the Daniel. Grandma Taro say they are missing a heart-shaped herb in Wakanda. What's going on? Culture says first time here. Hey, safe space. Safe space. First time here, Culture. Safe space. We nerd out. We talk about Black Panther, Wakanda. We grown, so we understand it's okay to agree to disagree. We do that. We just nerd out over here. So, but I appreciate you putting up, big dog. Harama say I'm checking out that new Avatar AIM before I check out Secret Wars. Facts. I feel that. And this ain't me telling nobody not to go to the movies. Please do not, because I didn't say that. We grown. You want to go see Coogler 3? You go see Coogler 3. You want to go see Avengers Doomsday? Go see that. No ridiculing over here. You pull up, I ask you how it was and everything like that. And if you liked it, you liked it. That's fair. No shame about going to go see Secret Wars. It's no shame about whether or not you're still participating with the MCU. We all grown. We all grown. We all make our choices, right? I've made mine and I'm good with my choice. It's my choice, right? I'm not holding anybody else to that. That ain't what this is about. So definitely safe space. And I definitely appreciate you putting up, Culture. Big Ruben says Grio Theo got his own sample at the herb. Yes, sir. What we say? We got Wakanda at the house. I ain't trying to be upset in my feelings going back and forth on social media. I come in I'll open up the door. The door to my office is like that little thing, the barrier from Wakanda. Yeah, soon as I walk in, I'm right in Wakanda. Nice little peace of mind and everything like that. And keep up. Daniel says, keep it up, Theo. I'm going to help you increase that subscription number. Everyone else here do the same because this is good brother, very intelligent. Man, I appreciate it, man. And that is an honor. Like that is one of the biggest, highest compliments that somebody could give you is you're a good brother. I think somebody said that. Not somebody said that, but when they were talking about when God created heaven and earth, he said it was good, and that was good enough for him. So to be considered a good brother, that's good enough for me. Thank you. I consider that high praise. Brother Ray says also Shuri and T'Challa, two of the most intelligent characters in Marvel. They didn't have a contingency. Also, why most people don't know T'Challa is a genius. That was done purposely by. He wanted to draw that distinction, and he did it. He did it. Like, if folks see no value in T'Challa on screen, Ryan Coogler did his job. That was his job. That was his mission. He wanted to draw a clear-cut line. He wasn't interested in all that stuff, all those qualities that you say T'Challa possesses, Shuri possesses. No. He's just gonna be the nerd. She gonna be the sassy one, and Eric gonna be the cool one. Eric is gonna represent everything that African Americans are mad about when it comes to Africa. That's what Eric was supposed to represent. Why I'm mad at Africa. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Like I know we all play a part, but if the Europeans don't come to Africa, I'm still in Africa. Like that's the other part of the story. Like, yes, we were fighting each other. Yes, we were selling each other as slaves in Africa. In Africa. If they don't come to Africa saying, can we cut a deal? We still in Africa. So, but yeah, that's he wanted to paint that picture. And as you can see with the dividing that we have going on real time right here in America with Black folks, you can see how that type of propaganda gets spread and everything like that. The disconnect, not knowing, making it difficult to trace the lineage. Folks in Africa falling for the propaganda. African Americans in America falling for the propaganda and everything like that. All he helped did was fuel it. Really, Black Panther, to me, should have been a movie, a series of movies that brought Africans and African Americans together. That's what those movies should have been, not for something to further the divide, but to put that bridge down and have people of color from across the world be able to interact with one another based off the #1 Black superhero in the world. That's what should have happened. We should have been having our own little private block party. Like everybody should be T'Challa fans. But like I said, I find it very, very interesting that with no other superhero, with this one right here, we walked in and here it is, 2018. 2018. It is 2026. 8 years later. And you have folks that look like T'Challa, whether they be in Africa or America, that don't give two damns about T'Challa. That's wild to me. That's wild to me. Because they will cap for Bruce all day. They'll cap for Tony all day. They'll cap for Clark, Steve, Peter all day. But cap for T'Challa? The director ain't even capping for T'Challa. That's wild. That's wild. That's wild. But my brother, the story did divide us, but the actual event united the world. White people were screaming Wakanda forever. You're not wrong. I can tell you that me growing my platform on TikTok, first we know race is man-made. So we get that out of the way. I can tell you that on TikTok, there are people that don't look like me, can't appreciate how I talk about comics. Because I don't call myself a blerd. I'm a nerd. And when I talk about stuff, I talk about it from the nerd aspect. I think it's obvious that I'm a black nerd. Like I don't think I gotta tell you it's kind of right here. You either gonna call me a black nerd or a Latino nerd, but I'm still a nerd. So they appreciate it. They no faking, no funking, nothing like that. Not acting this way or that way. Just a knowledgeable brother talking comics. And that's the thing that I be trying to get all of us on, because we nerds. How we get divided? Because when we was in school, we were the ones getting picked on. We were the ones that got picked on during recess by the cool kids. We were the ones that got talked about. We were the ones that had to hide our comic book collection when dating somebody. Oh, Lord, let me put this up right here. Because we didn't want to be judged. Because we were nerds. We were reading the comics. When did it become a bad thing for a nerd to read a comic? When did nerds say, I'm not reading no comic? I know I'm never hearing this from a Japanese anime fan. They're going to read all them books. They're going to read all them books. I ain't got to read no. No worries, D. I know you really gets it in these white streets. Yeah. Have any of y'all ever played Zah Tales of Kanzera or watched My Dad the Bounty Hunter season 2? Definitely Afrofuturism at its best. Hit me up with that. Let me know. I'm always in search, because you know when I leave here tonight, go relax some more. But my brother, the story did divide it. But no, you're absolutely right. And the story has divided even more culture, because right now you got recast T'Challa fans. That's one demographic. You got Ryan Coogler fans. That's another demographic. What the MCU did Saturday night was they divided the Ryan Coogler fans. Because up until Saturday, Ryan Coogler fans wasn't pressed about nothing T'Challa related. Some of those were Shuri fans. They not feeling this. They not feeling this at all. They like, oh no, you did Shuri wrong. You did Shuri dirty. You right. He did. But if you didn't hold him accountable as a writer the first time around, all you did was embolden the dude. That's all you did. And if Kevin ain't gonna check it, Kevin just gonna write him a blank check, let him do whatever he gonna do, then one, we just need to acknowledge this is no longer about Black Panther. This is about Ryan Coogler. This is not a Black Panther film. This is a Ryan Coogler film. That's what that is. So this will be Ryan Coogler 3. Ain't nothing wrong with folks going to go see Ryan Coogler 3, but this is far removed from any Black Panther stuff. It's just Black Panther in name only. And it's been that way since the second movie. So we don't need to be doing that. But he done divided the fan base, his own fan base. I'm going to stay over here and touch my nose. I'm the one who saved my allowance to buy video games and comics instead of sneakers. I can't always blame the cool kid. But you know, they talked about us when we did it. Because we walk around in them sneakers. We good because we got the comic books. They still talking trash though. Folks didn't talk trash about that army collection up there. I'm like, you got it. I got what I want though. You got what you want. I got what I want. Oh, true story about hiding comics from a girl. Come on, somebody. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm single at the time. I'm dating them because I'm from New York. I'm like, what's my dog, Joe? I don't want to be a player. No, I'm not a player. Right. But even with that, you got to kind of, because you can think you all that in a bag of chips, and a woman see the wrong thing and it's game over. Right. I'm living by myself, but I'm a nerd. I ain't got me some DC action figures. I got John Stewart. I got Vixen. I got Firestorm. I got Black Lightning. Right. I got them strategically placed in the house, though. They look like statues. They look like statues. And what I would do is I would make sure when I had company come over, we ain't going to focus on this too much. We're not going to linger on this too much. And if they ask me some questions, I'm not going to nerd out. I'm not gonna nerd out because you know you can, and you spook folks when you do that. So yeah, that's one of the things I had to do. I love the movie, but I was a staunch recast, and then making Black Panther female and putting blacks and Latinos against each other, and then unaliving her mom, T'Challa and Killmonger and Storm. You hit the nail dead on the head, brother Ray. You hit the nail dead on the head. I mean, I couldn't hit that nail any harder. You hit that nail square on the head, square on the head. Everything you just said. I didn't love the movie, but like I said, that was me because they was already deleting T'Challa. But everything else you said, yeah. So yeah. That said, before I get on up out of here, I want to thank y'all so much and everything, and I want to give y'all some more information. Well, especially if this is your first time pulling up, we nerd out, we geek out over here, we share information. One of the things we like to say, ain't no fun if the homie can't have none, right? And so with us doing this, I see quite a few new people pulling up. We have went to do through a lot to establish our Wakanda at the house, action figures, comic books, and everything like that, because we don't want to rely on stuff like that. There is a brother, and I want to show this to y'all. There's a brother on Instagram. His name is Artman Customs. I want to say shout out to those who introduced me to Artman Customs. It's a young brother over there on the West Coast, college student and everything like that. When I started getting my Black Panther action figure collection together, one of the things that bothered me was that we didn't have the Queen Mother Ramunda. And I always wanted that action figure no differently than I wanted Shuri as the griot. I can customize Shuri as a griot, and I'm proud to say that I think only myself and Mr. Ray Smith, two men, have Shuri as a griot action figure. Well, Artman Custom does head sculpts. I have King T'Chaka. Artman underscore customs. Thanks to him, many of us have the Queen Mother Ramunda. If you want your, and we got Bass too, he did a Bass head sculpt. If you want to enhance your Black Panther Wakanda action figure collection, and all you're missing to a degree are head sculpts here, head sculpts there, hit that young brother up. He's a godsend. And while folks can talk about, oh, T'Challa did in the comic, I'm gonna say T'Challa did give it up, you would sound like the person that would say the Queen Mother Ramunda is dead as well, except she's not. And just like we preserve T'Challa's legacy, we preserve the Queen Mother Ramunda's legacy as well. So we share stuff over here and everything like that. Y'all come hang out. We swap stories. We make sure we stay in the know with action figures and comic books and everything like that. This is a Black Panther channel. I am your Wakandan griot. I didn't give myself that name. The Rock With Me Nation did. Started off as the receipt keeper, and then it just evolved into griot. So that's what we do. That said, I'm out. Thank y'all so much, man. This has been a blast. Hopefully you got from it what I intended. We're Black Panther fans. That is a fan base. That fan base does incorporate all of the characters in Wakanda. That fan base does not exclude you from being a fan of another character, because folks like to think that's what that is. We're Black Panther fans. Our loyalty are to the characters of Wakanda. Not the MCU, not the actors, not the directors. Because if neither one of them get them right, we don't care. Please ask Ezra Miller. We don't care. That is what that is. So with that said, I'm out. We're gonna come back tomorrow and everything, get a good look. This is gonna be less up here tomorrow. I'm probably come in here and take stuff down. We're gonna be moving out Thursday. Friday is definitely the last day. Yeah, we're gonna see y'all on the flip side. That said, in memory of the late great Don Cornelius and Chadwick Boseman, always keeping the main thing the main thing. Till next time, see y'all up in here. The griot, that's cool. I'll back. Peace out and many blessings, my people. Absolutely, Jermaine. Absolutely. We're gonna do this again. You welcome boycott Activision. You know I used to have a Mattel in television back in the day. You're making me think about that with your name. And the Culture Made channel. Appreciate y'all pulling up and everything. Absolutely, Joe Blossom. Appreciate it. We're going to come back. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're going to have another topic because we need to talk about this Ororo T'Challa thing. So y'all make sure y'all got y'all notifications on. And remember the late, great Don Cornelius and Chadwick both. Until next time, I wish each and every last one of y'all love, peace, and soul. We out.